Section 8. Narcissus orders a tribune to murder Messalina. 4. When Claudius, having returned home, was heated with a meal and wine, he ordered that the wretched woman, for they say this is the word Claudius used, should be present the next day to plead her case. When Narcissus heard this and saw that Claudius's anger was declining and his love was returning, he began to fear the approaching night if he delayed, and the memory of his wife's bedroom. Therefore, he burst forth and ordered the centurions and a tribune, who was present, to carry out the slaughter. He said that the emperor ordered thus. One of the freedmen was also sent. He, having gone before the rest, swiftly to the gardens, found Messalina lying on the ground. Now we reach quite a pivotal moment, right, where Tacitus tells us that Narcissus has taken full control and he's ensuring that Messalina isn't going to survive the night. Tacitus is going to give us quite a dramatic shift between Claudius's drunken state and Narcissus's ruthless decisiveness. So we begin with Claudius returning home, and he is in Caluit. He's warmed up by cana and vino, right, two words next to each other, by dinner and wine. Tacitus isn't just describing a meal here, he's implying that Claudius has binged. Right, this is a man weakened by indulgence, he's dulled by these two comforts next to each other. He's not in control, he's drunk, which is obviously not how the emperor should be dealing with affairs as serious as this. Then what does he do? Well, here, imperavit, our next words. He orders, or he gives the order. Sounds quite authoritative, right? But Tacitus immediately undercuts it. He says to us that Claudius ordered the femina misera, the wretched woman, appear the next day to plead her case. Quite a strong vocabulary used here to refer to what was, I suppose is, his wife. Okay, he doesn't say that his uxor should appear the next day. Here it's a wretched woman. So I suppose not just a factual description, but also loaded with a bit of pity as well. And also Tacitus distances himself from what's going on, this bit in brackets, right? Hoc up to ferent. So they say Claudius used this word. So ferent shows us that Tacitus isn't committing himself fully, right? It's quite a classic technique of him, but it's a sly way of suggesting weakness. If Claudius really did pity her, he's already being swayed, okay? Then we get a critical moment. Okay, quod ubi Narcissus audiuit, et languescere iram redire amorem videt. So Tacitus is going to structure this quite carefully, right? Look at the balanced phrasing. Accusative infinitive, accusative infinitive. Or I suppose it's infinitive accusative, right? We've got languescere iram redire amorem. Okay, so two balanced phrases going on here, matching in form, mirroring Narcissus' thinking. The balance shows us the scales tipping back towards Messalina. Claudius's anger fades. Here we go. So his anger fades, his love returns. Not just love in general, but as Tacitus soon makes clear, love rooted in his memory for his wife. Okay. Then we move on, right? And Narcissus here, where are we? Narcissus doesn't fear love, right? He fears the night and the memory of the marriage bed between them, right? This phrase is quite vivid, right, and deliberately uncomfortable. Okay, this is the bit we're talking about here. Uxori cubiculi memoriam, right? He fears the night as well, or the approaching night. Tacitus piles all this up with the alliteration of M. Look how many M's are appearing throughout this. Okay, on the next, where are we? That's right. I suppose this M sound, right, as you're reading it, becomes almost the murmur of the returning intimacy, maybe highlighting just how easily Claudius might be seduced or swayed once again, right, if he hears Messalina out. So Narcissus is going to act. What does he do? He prorumpits, Okay, he doesn't just come in, but he bursts out. It's quite a powerful verb. It's the kind of word that Virgil used to describe the sea surging forth. Tacitus is signalling violent, unstoppable action. And then this is paired right next to it, quite clearly, with denuntiatque, another strong verb with a sense of command or threat. And the historic present of both prorumpit and denuntiat makes this moment feel immediate and quite frantic. Tacitus then, what does he do? He reuses words for effect. Okay, so let's look at this bit here. He talks about the tribune who was present. Okay, so qui aderat repeats the earlier adesset that we had earlier on. So a bit of polyptoton. Okay. Tacitus is reminding us that Messalina was summoned to appear before Claudius, but now someone else is here, the one who will see her execution. He then goes a bit further, ita imperatorem jubere. Okay, so this bit's, let's do blue, where are we? Ita imperatorem jubere. Imperatorem is a rare word for Claudius from Tacitus, right? Normally he's called the princeps, the more measured civil type, I suppose. Here, imperator suggests a rare flash of decisiveness, right? The imperator is quite a militaristic term, okay? But it's ironic, right? Claudius isn't actually giving the order, Narcissus is. Tacitus might be just mocking the idea that Claudius is finally acting like an emperor only because someone else is pulling the strings, i.e. Narcissus. Okay, then we get a little bit of, or a touch of variatio, right? Tacitus has used imperavit earlier on. He's also now used denuntiat down here. Okay, different ways of expressing commands. The variation keeps the narrative sharp, but also underscores the fact that the true control is in the eyes of Narcissus, not as it was up here in Claudius. Then what do we have? A freedman then is sent ahead. Again, a reminder that freedmen, not senators or generals, are executing imperial decisions. How does he go? Well, he goes raptin. Okay, he goes hastily, and he finds Messalina humi fusam, spread out on the ground. Quite a pitiful image, low, collapsed, broken. Tacitus doesn't offer us any sympathy for her here, just some quite stark imagery. Now, one final stylistic touch, which I think is quite nice, is that Tacitus describes her in silence. No words from Messalina. We don't hear yet her pleading. After all the noise, all the shouting and manipulation, this moment is completely still. Right, Tacitus at this point denies her a voice, reinforcing that idea that no longer is she a political player. She's just a body at this point on the floor. So in this section then, I suppose Tacitus presents quite a cowardly emperor of Claudius, ruthless freedman in Narcissus, and a silent, broken empress. Narcissus is the driving force, bursting in with violent, urgent action, while Claudius drifts between wine and wavering love, and he gives us quite a dramatic climax and a damning commentary on imperial weakness. Okay, and then we'll pick this up in the next one, which I think is the final section.